Have you ever wondered what makes a leader unforgettable? Some rise to power in predictable ways, while others appear on the world stage when nobody expects them, rewriting the very rules of history. That is exactly what happened in 2025, when the world was introduced to Pope Leo XIV. His papacy was not just surprising, it was transformative. Today we are going to take a closer look at why his story is unlike any other. Before we dive in, if you are someone who loves exploring faith, history, and the deeper meaning behind today's Catholic Church, I invite you to subscribe and stay with us. By doing so, you will be part of a community that seeks wisdom, inspiration, and truth. When Pope Leo XIV stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in 2025, the entire world was stunned. Here was a man not widely known in international headlines, suddenly entrusted with leading over 1 billion Catholics. For many, his election was puzzling, even controversial. The Church was standing at a crossroads, struggling with declining attendance in the West, increasing secularization, unresolved wounds from scandals, and a growing sense that Catholicism was losing its voice in the modern world. Yet the cardinals had chosen him. Why? Perhaps they saw something hidden from the public eye, a quiet strength, a vision for the future, or a pastor's heart that was waiting for the right moment. Skepticism came quickly. Commentators whispered that he lacked the charisma of John Paul II, the theological brilliance of Benedict XVI, or the pastoral warmth of Francis. But within months, those doubts began to fade. What people discovered was that Leo XIV carried something different, the courage to face the 21st century head-on without fear of losing the soul of the Church. Almost immediately, he revealed himself as an innovator. For centuries, the papacy had been slow to embrace new forms of communication. Leo XIV reversed that. Instead of resisting, he leaned in. Within weeks of his election, the Vatican launched new initiatives that stunned observers. The Pope began appearing not only in traditional liturgies and addresses, but also on live-streamed conversations, global podcasts, and even virtual reality gatherings where people could experience the Vatican from their homes. Imagine being a teenager in Manila or a nurse in Nairobi and suddenly being able to walk through St. Peter's Basilica with the Pope guiding you in prayer. Even more surprising, he encouraged theologians, educators, and artists to explore artificial intelligence as a tool for evangelization. He spoke openly about the dangers of technology, but insisted that if the Church ignored these platforms, it would abandon millions of souls searching for meaning online. What made him unique was not simply his use of modern tools, but his ability to keep the timeless message of the gospel intact. He did not water down Catholic doctrine. Instead, he reframed it, showing that eternal truths could shine even brighter when carried through new channels. If you are finding these insights into Pope Leo XIV's journey fascinating, I encourage you to like this video and share it with a friend who is searching for faith in today's world. By supporting this channel, you help bring more voices into the conversation about how history and spirituality continue to shape our lives. But innovation alone does not define him. What truly set Leo XIV apart was his pastoral heart. He was not only a man of ideas, but a shepherd for all. From the beginning, he championed interfaith dialogue. He extended the hand to leaders of Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, and Hinduism, not in a shallow call for tolerance, but in a deeper pursuit of authentic friendship. He believed that dialogue was not a threat to Catholic identity, but a path to greater peace. At the same time, he never forgot those pushed to the margins. While many world leaders lived behind walls and layers of protection, Leo XIV was often found in refugee camps, kneeling in prayer with displaced families. He sat with victims of violence, listened to the poor, and embraced those who had been cast aside by society. He did not speak about solidarity from a podium. He lived it with his presence. There are countless stories. A late-night visit to a hospital where he prayed quietly with a dying child. A spontaneous decision to join migrants in a humble meal. The way he often stopped Vatican convoys just to step out and bless ordinary people along the road. His authenticity was magnetic. People felt seen, heard, and loved. In a fractured world, his presence became a beacon of hope not only for Catholics, but for people of every background. So far, we have seen how Pope Leo XIV defied the odds with his unexpected election, embraced technology in ways no pope had before, and extended his arms to those at the margins of society. But this is only the beginning of his story. In the next part, we will explore how he faced opposition, overcame fierce criticism, and built a legacy that will shape the Church for decades to come. If you do not want to miss the second part, make sure to subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell. That way, you will be the first to know when the next chapter of Pope Leo XIV's story is released. Stay with us, because his journey is far from over. When a leader dares to innovate, opposition is never far behind. Pope Leo XIV knew this from the earliest days of his papacy. His bold embrace of technology and his visible presence among the marginalized won him admiration from millions, but it also provoked strong resistance. Some within the Church worried he was moving too quickly, that his openness to dialogue and modern methods would blur the clear lines of tradition. Critics outside the Church accused him of overstepping into political issues when he spoke on matters of migration, poverty, and climate. The backlash came in waves. Newspapers ran headlines questioning whether he was risking the integrity of the papacy. Commentators labeled him too progressive, too unconventional, even reckless. But Leo XIV never answered anger with anger. Instead, he chose a different path. With patience, he reminded people that the papacy was not about pleasing one side or another, but about guiding souls toward truth and compassion. When confronted with criticism, he responded with humility, often saying that he too was learning, that leadership required listening, and that only in dialogue could the Church find a way forward. There were defining moments. One of the most striking came when he was challenged for speaking out in defense of refugees who had lost everything. In response, he quietly visited a camp without cameras or press, spending hours walking through the mud, blessing children, and praying with families. Word of the visit spread only after refugees themselves told the world what he had done. It was this quiet authenticity that disarmed even some of his harshest critics. Gradually, what began as skepticism turned into respect. Attendance at church gatherings began to rise again, especially among the young. Online communities dedicated to Catholic spirituality flourished, often inspired by his words and example. In parts of the world where the Church had seemed silent, people began to feel reconnected. For Leo XIV, these were not statistics to celebrate, but lives touched, souls awakened, and hearts renewed. His legacy began to take shape in ways no one could ignore. He proved that tradition and progress did not have to be enemies, that the gospel could remain timeless even as its messengers adapted to new tools and realities. By walking closely with ordinary people, he reminded the Church that leadership is not about distance, but presence, not about power, but service. His papacy became a lesson in courage, showing that true faith is never afraid to enter the challenges of the age. As the years went on, what endured was not only his reforms or his public initiatives, but the memory of how he made people feel. He gave the world an image of a shepherd who could stand on the balcony of St. Peter's, yet also sit beside a stranger on a dusty road. That duality, both universal and personal, is what makes Pope Leo XIV truly unique. Today, his story continues to resonate. For some, it is a reminder that the Church can still surprise the world. For others, it is a lesson in leadership, courage, and compassion. And for millions, it is a source of hope that faith in the 21st century can be both deeply rooted and courageously alive. As we reflect on his journey, the question remains for all of us: what does his example teach us about living our own faith in today's world? That is where you come in. I would love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments what part of Pope Leo XIV's story speaks to you most. Does his embrace of technology inspire you? Does his compassion for the poor challenge you? Or does his resilience in the face of criticism encourage you?
And if you found this story meaningful, follow this channel so you can continue exploring faith, history, and the leaders who shape our world. Share this video with friends and family who might be searching for inspiration. Together, we can keep the conversation alive and carry forward the lessons of a truly remarkable papacy.